Coronavirus is causing mayhem across the world, disrupting business, life as we know it, and, yes, even many deaths. And it has no timeline, nothing that we can count on to know when it's over. But not all is bleak, or at least not all has to be. So out of this bad situation, we can gain something good. One of the things that we are seeing already across the United States, at least, is more and more school districts putting their curriculum online, which is, finally they're joining the 21st century, which is something that we should have been doing a long time ago. A long time ago, we've had this technology already with the internet, computers. Now we have smart devices. Kids can access their education materials from anywhere if it was available, readily available. But because of bureaucracy, because of we're creatures of habit, we were forcing our kids to have a 20th century experience. There's some good things about the 20th century experience of going to school, public school, whatever you went to. I went to public school. Most of us do or did. We have to be making use of the technologies that we are developing in order to develop even better technologies to take us into the future. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're just stuck. So the good thing is that schools, at least, are starting to take those steps to put the curriculum online. That's a great thing. The second thing that needs to happen is that if we ever get back to normal, which I don't count on that, because we shouldn't be trying to get back to anything. We need to be going forward always. That's how life is. It just keeps going, keeps moving. How is it that we all, or a lot of us, not all, are so bent on wanting to have the same things years and years and years, generations? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be like that in the future. Can't be. One thing or another is going to force us. If we don't do it by ourselves, like the corona showing us, if we don't do it by ourselves, then something is going to force us to do it. So again, unfortunately, this time it's the coronavirus that is pushing us to drop what we were doing, the way we were misprioritizing things, and focus on what we need to do to try to have better chances of surviving experiences like these. So a lot more incorporating into the 21st century technology and developing more technologies that can provide for that kind of need. Eventually, this push that we're getting to become much more technology dependent is going to be a good thing, because we already have the ambition or dream or fantasy, even if you want to think of it like that, of going to Mars and other places to up our chances of surviving a world catastrophe. And we weren't putting the resources into it, but I think that's going to change. I think that's going to change, because this is showing us how we've been sitting on our asses for so long, just so comfortable watching our games, watching our Netflix, watching our funny memes and videos on YouTube. And instead, all the real stuff that we need to be doing, the real work, is moving at a snail pace. Not that it's not being done, but the priority is not there. The priority is placed somewhere else. And we need to wake up. we no longer have the luxury to just repetitively try to have the same program function under the same program of our traditions or culture. Instead, life has shown us, history has shown us that nothing is forever. That things not need to change. Things need to change. Change is the constant, not conservatism in that sense of like maintaining everything the same way. I'm not attacking conservatives here. I'm saying when you want to preserve something intact, fully intact, without allowing any change, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We need to be able to evolve, and it looks increasingly like the only way that we're going to evolve is through innovation. Now, we can't wait for nature to take its course and make us evolve like it did, like it's said it did, from ape to man. That's not gonna it's not gonna help us. It's not there's not enough time for that kind of evolution. We need to evolve ourselves, and the one way that we're gonna do it is incorporating more and more technology and more of our culture and our needs and things that we need to do into a online version or availability, like we're doing right now, which is I commend the teachers and the principals and all the people that are involved in doing this effort. It's a tremendous, gigantic effort that they were not ready for. They're having to build the wheel, proverbially speaking. They're literally inventing the wheel in terms of putting all their curriculum online and figuring out how they're going to go about being teachers to their kids from now on. I wouldn't want my kids to have to go to school the way they were before the pandemic. I want them to have options. I want them to be able to decide, and myself be involved in the decision of whether they have to go back full time or they can maybe go back part time. Part time students, meaning not that their work is cut in half, but that they do part of the time at school, part of the time the work that they need to do, they do it at home or from wherever they are at, wherever they want to do it from. But not this requirement to have to be there physically. It's not necessary, and it's dangerous. Now we see how dangerous it is. I mean, if the bullying wasn't enough to convince us that model didn't work for a lot of kids, then this pandemic is showing us it doesn't work. It doesn't really work. It's not that reliable. So maybe, I know a lot of kids and parents don't want to change too much. Some kids still want the high school experience. So maybe they can do, like I said, half a day. Or if some kids are more involved in other endeavors and they want to be able to fulfill their education fully online, why not? You say education is also socialization. Well, maybe you can incorporate a class that is about socialization, groups, right? They stand a better chance of coming together with people that are like-minded and even some different people, but in a better, more positive way. I mean, I remember being in public school and how you're put together randomly with a whole bunch of people that you don't really want to be around. I mean, I was held at knife point one time in my school with a fucking Rambo knife to my gut. No kid should have to go through that. No kid should have to go through that. And why does that happen? Because teachers and principals and all those personnel, they're not enough of them to be able to monitor and supervise every single kid. And it's not enough of them. So we need to change the model. And that's what life and the world and this corona virus is telling us. We need to change the model. Okay? We need to reimagine our society as a whole. Because that's the only way, first of all, to get better outcomes in the now, but also to be able to get to the future that we're going towards. Because the future does not involve doing the same repetitive things day by day, year by year, generation by generation. There's no kind of future right there. We need to be able to evolve, and that's what the corona in part is teaching us. So again, if your experience at the moment is a negative one because one, you're in isolation and you feel like you're going nuts, you should watch my other video on how to handle the quarantine. That's a tip on how to handle a quarantine. But if you're being affected in the sense of like health, I really hope that you're able to get through it. And if you're being affected because people around you are succumbing to it, then my heart goes out to you. But besides those things, there is at least one positive thing coming out of this. We're joining finally the 21st century, and that is a good thing, a thing to celebrate. So with that said, thanks for tuning in. I'll be seeing you soon.